basically we have given here, but it is a regular expression. Gherkin uses a set of special keywords to give a structure and meaning to executable specific. Hello masters, welcome back to JoanMedia. Welcome back to another amazing video of Webdriverio. In this case today, we're gonna learn how to install Webdriverio using Cucumber.js has the test framework, right? We're gonna learn how the project is structured, what is the step definition, how the step definition is working together with the feature file, with the Gherkin specifications, and how to run it step by step. I'm gonna try to explain you all the every single line in the code, to make some kind of sense and give you some context of what is happening. Okay. So let's go ahead and start. I have a folder here that is called Webdriverio Cucumber, and here I have opened a CMD. In my case, I'm currently using Windows, but it is the same stuff if you use Mac OS or Linux or all this stuff. You only need to have a Node installed on your computer so you can use npm commands. In this case, I'm going to start using npm init, if I'm not wrong, so I can start a node project over here. I have to specify the package name. In this case, it's going to be Webdriver Cucumber. The version, the description, I'm going to leave it in blank, right? In this case, the entry point is going to be index.js. The command, the test command, let's call it test, but it's going to be empty for now. Then we have to specify the Git repository. I'm going to leave it as the default one. Some keywords, for example, Webdriverio, JavaScript, and Cucumber, right? The author in this case is JoanMedia. Please subscribe and leave a like in this video. It's gonna help me with a lot of support for this video. And the license is the standard one. Then it is asking me if this is okay. I'm gonna say that it is. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna say yes. And now, as you can see, if I list this using the command dir, you're gonna see that now I have a package.json file in that particular folder. There it is. There is a package.json. So I'm gonna open the folder in Visual Studio Code so we can continue working with Webdriverio. Let me show you this. Now I have a package.json here, right? With all the information that I have specified, the name, the version, the different keywords, and also we have an author here, the license, and the test script that it doesn't has any sense for now. Okay, so let's start using Webdriverio. I'm gonna use this command here, which is useful when you already have an existing project, as we have started one. I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna explain you what is happening here, but I'm gonna open my terminal. I'm gonna do it again in case there was something happening, but I'm gonna be using the command prompt in this case. I'm gonna execute npm init wdio and dot. Why is this format? It is gonna be actually, let me show you this. It is gonna be running npm init wdio. It is gonna actually opens a kind of installation helper. You're gonna see in a few seconds, but then I'm specifying the current folder because I already have a package.json, so I want to install the different dependencies like this one, right? The wdio CLI, which is the dependency that actually help me with the configuration of the project. Right here, you can see that it is asking me if where is my automation backend located. It is in my local machine for now. It is asking me now what is which framework I want to use. I don't want to use Mocha because we have reviewed this before, but I'm gonna be using Cucumber. Okay. It is asking me if I want to use a compiler. I don't want to. I'm going to be using pure JavaScript because we have covered the TypeScript basics, right, in this channel too. So I'm going to be using JavaScript. Then we have where we want to have the feature files located. It is going to be default. Also the step definitions location, it is going to be the default one. It is asking me if I want to auto generate some test files, and I do, because I want to review what is happening there and I want to explain you what is happening there. Then we have it is asking me if I want to use page objects, and I want to explain you to how we can use page objects in JavaScript using Webdriverio, because we have done that, but using TypeScript in the past. Okay, where are your page objects located? In the default location. Now it is asking me which reporter I want to use. I want to use a spec, the default one, and I don't want to use any plugin. But in this case, instead of using the Chrome driver service, I want to use the Selenium standalone. It is okay if you want to start with Chrome driver, but if you reviewed my last video about Selenium standalone, you're gonna understand why I want to use this. So I highly recommend you to check the video where I explain what is Selenium standalone service. Okay. And now the base URL is going to be the default one. And now it is asking me if I want to run the npm install command. And I'm going to say yes, because I need to install the different packages that I have defined before. I need to install the Cucumber framework, the spec reporter, and the Selenium standalone service. And it is currently installing .dot. It is going to take a few seconds. So let's wait for a small moment, okay? Okay, it is pretty fast, and now it is saying that we have successfully set up the project at my folder here, and we can start the test running this command. Why? Because in the package.json you're gonna see that it has automatically generated a script called Wdio. In this script you're gonna see that we have a sentence here saying that Wdio run and this file that we have in the root directory, which is this one. What is happening here? This is also called the test runner. Here we have specified, or we can specify the different configurations that we want in order to execute the stuff that we want to execute. For example, in this case, it is specifying that I want to execute all the feature files that we have under this particular path, right? Or I'm specifying that I want to run my tests using Google Chrome, right? In case I have another web browser, I can do something like this here and add another service using, for example, browser name Firefox. Okay, but that's something that we have discussed before, so I highly recommend it to go and check the playlist in my channel where you can learn Webdriverio from scratch. Okay, now it is saying that the log level is information and so on, but here you can see that the framework that we are using is Cucumber, and that's important because that's the idea of this video, right? Also, it is saying that the services, or the only service right now, is Selenium standalone, so I'm gonna be capable to start or execute my scripts using the Selenium standalone grid, using the Selenium grid, basically a local Selenium grid. And also we have here some Cucumber options that you can configure depending on your needs, right? In this case, it is saying that we require the different step definitions under this path. If we want to modify, for example, fail fast, snippets, source, if you want to have our project in strict true mode, right? Or so on. Here we have a timeout too configuration. That's important. So if you want to come here and check what is happening too, well, you can come and change the configurations that you need, but by default it's okay for now. I think that we can execute it and explain you what is happening with this boilerplate project. Okay, now let's imagine that I want to explore what is under this features folder. You're gonna see that now we have like two folders, one named page objects, then we have step definitions and login feature. Let's start explaining what is gonna happen here. Basically, we have this website, which is Internet Heroku app, okay? And this framework is gonna be mapping this base page under the folder page objects, and we have the file name page.js. As you can see, well, basically we have a module exports here, right? Using the class page. And we only have one method here, right, which is open, and this open method is going to be expecting a path. This path is going to be essential to check the login path that we want to test. For example, if I visit the login path, you're going to see that we have a login page here where we can enter, for example, Tom Smith, and the password, secret password with this symbol that I have just wrote, and you're gonna see that I didn't enter the information correct. Let me see. Control C and Control V. There it is. And now we are under another page here, which is secure when you are successfully logged in, right? But why this is important? Because in the main page, in this case, we're going to be expecting to receive the path, depending if, for example, if I'm going to test the login page, well, I have to send login here, right? I need to concatenate that particular string. Why? Because this particular website, the Internet Heroku app, has like different scenarios to automate. So you can come here and play with broken images like this ones, or checkboxes, right? So I'm gonna be playing with the login, right? So if I look for the login here, or actually if I enter using the path login, you're gonna see that I'm gonna be able to play with this login form. The information that we require to enter this form is Tom Smith as correct username and super secret password as the password that we have to enter. We also have a login button here. Why I'm telling you? Because we have another login page here, right? And now here it is extending from the page object that we have declared before, and we have like 3 gets here. Every single get is going to be one web element that we have here. So you can see that the username, the text box here, the username and text box, well, actually has an ID called username, right? So it is mapping that particular element using the syntax that Webdriverio has. In this case, is mapping the element by the ID, right? And it is doing the same stuff for the input password and the button submit here. And that's basically what is happening here, right? Then we have a login method, which is asynchronous for sure, because now Webdriverio only works with asynchronous mode, and it is expecting 2 parameters here. It is expecting username and password. Why? Because you need those values to, well, type the information in the different elements, right? The first element, the first action is going to be set value, which is basically the same as type. We're going to be typing in the UI the parameter information that you're receiving, and also the input password here. And as soon as you have executed both actions, well, you have to click on submit. That's basically what is happening, right? And also, as you can see, we have an open method here that is going to be, well, inheriting from the page one, and it is going to be sending the path that we have here. So it is going to be override what we have, and it is going to be opening the login page. That's basically the idea of this login page. And at the end, we have a module export, so we can use the login page probably in the step definition folder and file. I'm going to tell you this in a few seconds, but I also have another page here, which is securepage.js, right? And well, it is also inheriting this information, but in this case, it is, well, checking the flash alert, which is this one that I have here. Let me show you this. This is the flash alert. So now that we know how the page object works here, and you probably know this, but I wanted to, well, overview this again, right? But now we can continue with the features file, or I'm sorry, yeah, with the login.feature in this case. This feature is going to be using Gherkin, as probably you know, Gherkin is like an structured kind of file that where we can specify or set a set of specifications, right? So we can call this file as runnable or execution, or I don't know, but basically it is I have the keyword here. I'm sorry, let me show you this. Basically, Gherkin uses a set of special keyword to give a structure and meaning to executable specifications. That's the word that I was looking for. Executable specifications. Why? Because using the set of special keywords to provide the structure, Cucumber is going to be capable to read every single line here. And for example, we have a feature here, which is going to be the Internet Guinea Pig website. We're going to, well, that's the feature that we want to test in this particular feature file, but here we have an scenario outline, and this scenario is that as a user, I can log into the secure area. That's the idea of this particular scenario under the feature here, okay? Then we have other keywords here, the given, the when, and then. That's important, and that's probably another video that I need to do, talking about this syntax, about Gherkin. But, well, you can see the idea here. Given, I'm on the login page, right? It is saying that in this particular scenario, given I'm on the login page, right? I mean, in this particular website, right? In this login page, the user, or let's try to think that we are in this particular scenario. When I log in with username and password, right? For example, Tom Smith and super secret password, then I should see a flash message saying, right? And for example, if I log in with Tom Smith and super secret password as the password, we're gonna have a flash, right, saying you logged into a secure area. And you can see that in this table we have the message here. Why? Because in the last part, in this particular then, I should see a flash message saying, and the message is this one over here. Why it is separated in a table? Because well, this table is gonna be capable to execute the same scenario over and over again, depending on the number of rows that we have in this table. So we're gonna execute one row using this set of data, and then we're gonna use another set of data that probably, well, actually test another scenario, right? In this case is foo bar foo, and of course the message is gonna be invalid because the username is not valid at all, okay? So that's basically the idea of this login feature file, and as I'm telling you, probably in the Cypress and Cucumber integration, I try to explain you in a better way the BDD idea and what is Gherkin. So I highly recommend you to check the Cucumber and Cypress integration video too. Okay, guys, that's good. Please let me know in the comment section if you are understanding this. If you need another video explaining something else, of course we can try. Of course. Now let's continue with the step definitions folder. You're gonna see that in this step definitions folder I have a steps.js file, and here, well, basically we're gonna import or require the given, the when, and the then from the Cucumber framework. This is the way that Cucumber can read the given, the when, and the then that we have in the login.feature file, right? So let's start taking a look of this. In the line number 3 and 4, we have two constants. Every single constant is gonna mean a page here, because it is gonna be requiring the class from the page objects folder. And for example, the login page is gonna be, well, actually requiring the login.page.js file that we have here, and also the secure page do the same stuff here. Let me drink a bit of water, I'm sorry. Then we have a const variable that is gonna be an object, and in this case we only have one page here. It's gonna be login. That's the name of the key, but this key is gonna have the login page constant that we have at the top of this particular JS file. Now that we know this, now that we have all the stuff that we need to start working on the step definition, and that we understand that the step definition is like a translation from the feature file to technical language, in this case JavaScript, right? That's the way that to Cucumber to understand and read the specifications here. Now it is going to use basically regex to understand what is happening and what we have sent in this particular part of the readable specifications. Let me explain you what is happening here, because if you saw the video that I created for Cypress, we did it differently, but here is a different context and a scenario. Let me explain you what is happening. Basically, we have given here, but it is a regular expression, okay? It is starting with this syntax, and well, basically what is happening is that it's gonna read some words with some regex here. So for example, the given here is saying I am on the regex and page. Okay, let me show you this. I am on the login page, and this particular regex here is actually, well, like reading the logging from the feature file. Why? Because, well, we have like some keys here, and let me explain you what is happening. The parenthesis means that we can group multiple tokens together and creates a capture group for extracting a substring. So we're gonna be extracting text from this particular expression. What is happening here is that this particular expression, the backslash and the W, means word, and this particular word matches any word character, including alphanumeric and underscores. Okay, so it is going to be capable to understand the logging word here. And then the plus symbol, I'm sorry, I have messed this, but now it is correct. The plus symbol means that it is a quantifier, right? And it is going to match one or more of these preceding tokens. So we are going to be grouping the logging word using this particular regex. That's what is happening, okay? And as soon as we have identified this parameter, we're gonna be receiving it as a parameter. So the page here is gonna be logging, as the feature file is specifying, right? So now that we know that, we're doing an await command here to, well, actually map the page under the pages object. And in this case, I only have one, right? But I am specifying the page using this as a parameter in the array, right? Or actually specifying this using the key login in this particular case, okay? And then I'm using the command open, that, if you remember correctly, it was well, actually concatenating the URL here, but also the path that is specifying in the login page, which is login. So it is constructing the URL, well, all the URL here and the path looking. So I'm opening this particular page. I hope that you can understand it, understand this, because it is pretty easy, right? But we can continue with the when step definition, okay? As you can see, what is happening here is practically the same, but instead of using, well, we're using two different regex expressions here, right? We have the same one than before, that it was the word, but we have a difference with the password, right? Because as you can see, well, the password is identified using a dot, right? Instead \W. Why? Because this particular regex expression means that the dot means matches any character except the line breaks. So it is gonna group, will actually capture all the substring from that particular, from here, basically, right? From the password parameter that I'm sending in the feature file. Why we're using this regex? Probably because sometimes the well, the password needs to handle some symbols, right? And special characters that probably a word that only supports underscore and alphanumeric symbols cannot handle correctly, right? Now that we have identified what is happening here, we're gonna be, well, receiving the username, the password, and then we're gonna be sending the username and the password to the login method under the login page, right? That it was typing and clicking. That's what is happening in that particular method. And then in the then method, we're, well, actually doing the same stuff to match the text containing the message that we have over here, right? That's basically what is happening in the step definition. And also we're checking that the flash alert also exists when or actually after the login is successfully done. Okay, guys, so let's continue with the execution of this example. How you can do it? Well, as the command line said before, we have to specify this script using the command npm run wdio. And you're gonna see that probably it is gonna work, because it is gonna be opening the test script, and, well, we're gonna have a live view of the execution. Let's wait for a few seconds. I hope that you're enjoying this video, guys, because, well, it is interesting, right? How it works and And actually something that it is opening the web browser here. You can see the two scenarios executed. And now, as I told you before, the table here with the 2 rows of data was executed separately as different scenarios, right? But using different data depending on the row. So that's how it works, right? I just wanted to make this video because I didn't know that we can handle the given, the describes, or actually this string using regex, right? And it is interesting. And in case you use the boilerplate project, I wanted to show you what is happening here, because I didn't know that it was using this. So guys, thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much, all the masters that supported this channel. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and see you in the next video. Thank you guys. Bye bye.